Hello and welcome to Continental Development News. I'm your host, Michael Villani. We're speaking with co-founders of Continental East Development, Lydia Persia, who serves as Vice President and Real Estate Broker of CED, and Al Rattan, the President of Continental East Development. CED is a privately held development company with international financial resources. Their real estate acquisitions have varied from uncompleted commercial and medical office buildings, a shopping center, and large residential tract properties. Welcome, Al and Lydia. Al, can you tell us a little bit more about CED?
Thank you. Continental East Development really specializes in the turnaround of both large residential tract and commercial properties. And if you recall, in 2012, the Supreme Court sustained Obamacare. And with our past background of development of medical properties, the company in 2013 will be focusing very heavily in the development of medical properties, but particularly as our seniors age and our aging population, the statistics are going crazy. We will be concentrating very heavily in the development of senior housing.
Lydia, can you tell us a little bit how you became involved in co-founding Continental East Development?
In the early 2008, when the market collapsed, my partner Al Rattan and I, we saw an opportunity. In the early 2009, we started traveling to China, Vietnam, looking for foreign investors.
And Lydia, how were you able to use Al's background in raising money in Asia?
Al has a long history working with Asian banks. In the mid-'80s, he was working with one of the largest banks of Japan, and that helps to open doors for finding different investors.
So Al, how is CED different than all of your competitors, and how are you making money?
Continental East Development is quite different than most of our competitors in that we're extremely capitalized. And as a basis of that, we're able to identify distressed assets, purchase them at a deep discount, with our combined management team experience, turn those property around, and our goal is to sell it for a profit.
And that seems to be what's happening.
It is happening.
So I'll briefly explain to us how CED turns properties around, and is your original investment target still intact?
We're more than on target. Let me give you an example of how we turn around a property. In 2008, we identified a medical property in Mira, California. This property got hit during the tremendous down dip of the stock market, ended up almost going into foreclosure. Bank decided to basically accept a proposal of sell us the note. What that allowed us to do is even buy that property at more of a discount. We then, after successfully buying the note from the property, we became the bank. We foreclosed on the property, and then we upgraded the property. Now, one of the real aspects is we liked the location. It was right next to Rancho Springs Medical Center. We felt it was only a matter of time that that property would be the right place at the right time for a medical clinic. And Lydia, our Vice President in charge of leasing for about a year and a half, negotiated with a national tenant called RadNet. And we're very pleased that not only did she successfully negotiate a lease, but RadNet last fall moved into the building. It's occupying it, and it's significantly turned not only the building around, but increased the overall value of that particular portfolio.
So Lydia, as I understand it, there are two parts to this building. There's the medical part of the building and the commercial part of this building. How's the leasing going on the commercial end of the property?
We like so much this property now as the home at Continental East Development and UCRC Regional Center.
Lydia, tell us about the CED's first acquisition in real estate.
Like we say in real estate, location is the key component for when you're looking to put a group of investors to invest in a project. You want to make sure this project has a good location. So like, for example, Sweetwater was next to Spencer's Cross, which is a 600 acres master plan community. Sweetwater is 29 acres, 129 residential lots, and the conditions of the property was great. They have all the infrastructure in there. We have all the roads, all the utilities, it was there. Imagine being able to buy this property in such a tremendous discount. At the time when we purchased Sweetwater, the federal government, it was putting pressure on the banks to raise some capital.
So Lydia, when did you purchase Sweetwater, and then what was your exit strategy to pay off your Asian investors with this?
My partner, El Ratan, we convince the investors if they buy the properties for cash, wait 4 years, then we'll sell the properties and make a lot of money. And we was right in the money of the end of March of 2009. We purchased Sweetwater, and in 2012, December of 2012, we sold Sweetwater to Meritage Homes, which is the 9th largest builder in the U.S.
So Al, I know you have an extensive background in building commercial and residential properties yourself. When you purchased Sweetwater, did you have any thoughts about building it out for yourselves?
We did. In fact, we studied that particular facet extensively. But we also started to see a market upbeat in the residential housing in all of southwest Riverside County. And we felt, based on the location, the proximity of Sweetwater being next to a huge master plan development, that it was only a matter of time that we would be approached by a public builder. And it turned out that our assumptions were absolutely right on. Meritage Homes bought the property for cash, and the rest is history.
So Al, were your investors happy with their return on their investment?
Well, you know, I've had the privilege of being in the development and construction business for over 30 years, but the testimonial when you're dealing with investors is to report, well, we have good news and better news. The good news is we're ahead of target. We were able to sell the property slightly less than 4 years. Second is the return is significant. And here was the most marvelous part of the news is we said, well, what would you want us to do with the money? You know, do you want us to send it home? And the answer came back, no, reinvest it. And that's not a bad testimony.
Al, talk to us a little bit about your projections for 2013 and possibly beyond.
Well, with Obamacare now on the books, and we're all, I guess, looking forward in 2014 when there's more definitive about reimbursements. But we feel specifically that the scale is wide open for the development of healthcare, such as new medical clinics. Subacute facilities, example is we're staying in a hospital and maybe we shouldn't be staying so long, we're recovering from hip surgery. The subacute becomes a potential environment. And last but not least, the senior housing. And we're moving into senior housing in a very big way. In fact, we've created a new division called Renaissance Villages, and we plan to not only develop, but we will be, based on my training experience in the past of developing senior housing, we will be operating those. And we have 3 properties currently online, one in Murrieta, another one in Moreno Valley. Both those properties were completely entitled. We'll be breaking ground in April in Moreno Valley, right behind that Murrieta. And we're moving heavily into Indio. We took down that particular site, which is right next to Dale Webb in Indio. Site's about 20 acres, and this one will have 4 levels of care: active elderly, assisted care, memory care, and skilled nursing.
Thank you, Al. Thank you, Lydia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You've been watching Continental Development News. Stay tuned on the explosive growth of Continental East Development and their expanding properties. I'm Michael Villani. We'll see you next time.